There's a fascinating mechanism in the Navy that allows officers to pinpoint their own location in the midst of this vast sea and to chart the course of action for their ships. In fact, it's not one mechanism, but actually it's two. First is a radar. A group of people sit around a radar console, and the sailors at this radar console perceive their own ship at the center. And everything else in the sea, every other ship, every other item in the sea is seen in relationship to that center. They literally perceive everything in their world either moving away from themselves or to themselves. At another desk, a set of sailors man what's called the Dead Reckoning Tracer, called the DRT. And at this console, one's own ship is just another track, along with all of the other tracks that are visible in the world. Neither of these systems alone provides a completely accurate reading of a situation. The radar system can quickly become overwhelmed with multiple objects seeming to move toward the ship's center. And the DRT can fail to identify impending threats in a timely manner. So the radar system is subjective, with all things seen in relationship to the self, while the DRT is more objective, as if one was looking at the entire system from above. And without both systems, the Navy cannot function. With only the radar, just from the inside looking out, everything is a threat. And with just the DRT, nothing is. Research is currently being done in order to find a system that combines both of these in order to create the data and the insight that would allow the sailors to make quick and accurate decisions about real-time maneuvers. But the truth is that human perspective of looking at the radar and someone else looking at the DRT, and those experiences combined, those two things are what is necessary. We're all looking to make decisions about real-time maneuvers, as it were. Fortunately, the High Holy Days actually gives us two such tools if we know how to use them. We have these multiple systems too. We have Rosh Hashanah and we have Yom Kippur. Have you ever thought about why Rosh Hashanah takes place before Yom Kippur? It might actually make sense for it to be the other way around. On Yom Kippur, we look at the past year. We examine the sins of the past year, all of the failings that we carry with us. And on Rosh Hashanah, we celebrate the birthday of the world, which celebrates the new year, the opportunity that we have to move forward. So why is it that we have the new year before we have the reconciliation of the old year? It's brilliant. It's brilliant. On Rosh Hashanah, we get to see things with one perspective. And on Yom Kippur, we're ready after Rosh Hashanah to see things with a new one. Heschel has a word for this, and it's called yirah, and it's often translated as fear, but it has another meaning as well. It can mean awe. Heschel gives an example of lightning. Now, if lightning is about to strike right where you are, that is 100% fear. If lightning is about to strike somewhere far in the distance and you can see the beauty of the line scraping through the sky, now that is awe. Heschel describes that kind of yirah as a gateway to God, as the root of our faith. On Yom Kippur, it's as if lightning is about to strike us. It's painful. It is absolutely the source of fear. We take all the Torahs out of the ark, and we're dressed in white, like a shroud. We're supposed to stare into an empty box. We're supposed to confront our own mortality. We're supposed to confront our own brokenness and all of the times that we failed to live up to our own purpose. It's at this moment when we're supposed to look head on at our failures like lightning is about to strike, and it is terrifying. Have you ever watched somebody move away, take a new job, try to start fresh, and yet they bring the same patterns and same behaviors to their next chapter? No matter how much we try to move past it, our brokenness comes with us, like shards of glass we've dropped, shards of our arrogance, our anger, our laziness, our depression, our failure to see the good in other people, our inflexibility and rigidity in our own opinions. And most of the time, it's easier for us to just ignore all of this and try to walk away. I don't know about you. I don't want to carry my shards. I don't want to face my failures all the time. I'd rather focus on other people's failures. Tikkun olam, let's fix other people's shards. Or even parenting, let me fix my kids' shards. Or plain old just having fun, let me just spend time with my family and friends and leave all that stuff behind and pretend that there really are no shards. But did you know that the first set of the 10 Commandments, Moses threw down when confronted with the sins of the people of Israel? And did you know that in the ark, they carried with them not only the new tablets, but the shards of the broken ones? The broken right along with the whole. These broken tablets, these broken shards of self that are rattling around inside our bodies, these things are vital. We not only have to carry them, we have to find a way to acknowledge them. If not through this radar system when it's all coming at us, but maybe the DRT, this Rosh Hashanah experience, the birthday of the world, we know we have a new year and we can face the old one now. If we carry these shards safely, we can feel them poke at us just at the right moments, just when we're about to repeat the old patterns, just when we're about to create that same old pain, and we're reminded that we can go another way. So now that we've celebrated most of Rosh Hashanah, we're at the tail end of it, and we're standing really right in between this beautiful new year that we all long for and hope for and pray for, and Yom Kippur, when we're going to have to face ourselves in the mirror. I'm going to ask you to start this work. I'm going to ask you to feel your shards. When I say that, where do you feel them? In your stomach? Your forehead? Your shoulders? Take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. Imagine standing between your own radar system and your dead reckoning tracer, not quite where the lightning strikes, just far enough to perceive it with awe. If you need to close your eyes, you can do this. Think back through this past year and think of a challenge that you faced in your life. I want you especially to think of a challenge that you didn't face well. One that you didn't bring your whole self, your good self to. One that makes you not so proud of who you are. Forget what everyone else did. Forget their share in this. Forget any excuses or reasons why you responded in this way. All of those excuses and reasons and explanations will be here when we finish. And you can always go back to them. Now, imagine that challenge. And imagine a quality you wish that you'd had more of. Was it patience? Maybe courage? Humility? Perspective? Compassion? That quality, that midah, that is a measure of you. It is, for this moment, your spiritual curriculum. It is the thing in yourself that you need to put into balance. That quality that you didn't have enough of, the one that prevented you from being your best self in the face of a challenge, that's how we should start. Okay, you can open your eyes. So now what? How do we start? Now that we know what we have to fix, how do we actually do it? I'm going to give you 4 ways that we can begin to do this work. The first is to make yourself uncomfortable. I mean it. Get uncomfortable. Discomfort is not pain, and it is not suffering. Suffering is that thing that happens to you when you get stuck in the discomfort, when you are afraid of the discomfort, when you don't know what to do with the discomfort. That is suffering. But the discomfort, that is healthy. That is important. That teaches you that you need to fix something. We're taught to run away from all of those feelings, and we do so many things to run away from it. Sometimes we eat. Sometimes we exercise, although those 2 things are both good when they're done for the right reasons. Sometimes we drink or maybe use some substances to calm ourselves down. We want to avoid at all cost. But I say live in the discomfort and know that you can handle it. Last year, I began to study karate. I did it because my child needed me to be in the class in order for him to study karate. And I thought it would just be fun and exercise. And what I didn't realize is that every time I walked into that room, I had to bow. I had to bow to my master. Master Pak, if you're watching, I'm bowing to you. And I learned an incredible lesson. I learned that I needed humility. I didn't know it would make me uncomfortable until I actually did it. I didn't know that bowing in that way, that acknowledging that someone else was my teacher in that way, was going to make me uncomfortable. And the more I did it, the more I held that feeling of discomfort, the more humility crept into me, and the more I began to use that in the rest of my life, in my interactions with friends, and my interactions with my children, with my parents. And I found, through discomfort, something extraordinary. We do that at Day2. We face the ark and we bow, not because we're bowing to the Torah or because we're bowing to the ark, but because we need to put our head down. We need to recognize we are not the center of the universe. We are not the top. And every time we bow for Day2, we have an opportunity to remind ourselves to get uncomfortable and find a sense of humility. If you need patience, show up early for something and deliberately make yourself wait. If you need courage, you know that old adage, do something that scares you every single day, maybe every single week. Practice being uncomfortable. Number 2, do not define yourself at all. I don't mean don't define yourself badly or don't define yourself as something negative. I mean literally don't define yourself. Did you know that when we tell our children they're smart, this is actually destructive? It is actually destructive to our children when we tell them that they are good at something, because then they become afraid that they have to be good at that thing. And instead of worrying about learning, instead of worrying about growing, instead of enjoying that process, they're worried, I am supposed to be good at this. I'm supposed to be smart. How could I fail? How could I fail? Who am I if I fail? Do not define yourself as good. Do not define yourself as capable. Do not define yourself as incapable. Both of these things are destructive. Number 3, intensity. I like this one. I've been studying, maybe because of my own age at this point, how athletes stay in shape as they get older, how athletes get into shape as they get older, and everybody will tell you intensity in short bursts. This is how you have to do it. Intensity in short bursts, and then rest. This is true for spiritual practice as well. Interval training, constantly jacking up your heart rate into the upper echelons. So be in training. Jewish spiritual practice called musar is structured in just this way. In the morning, you focus on a character trait. Say it's humility, as I talked about earlier. You focus on humility and the definition of what that is for just 2 minutes. And then you go about your day. And then in the evening, you journal for just 2 more minutes about that character trait. And over the course of a week, in these short bursts of intensity, you've actually allowed this quality to creep into yourself. And it's pretty masterful how this works. Do this for a week. Pick your quality, do it for a week, and see how these intervals help. And last but not least, believe it's possible. Believe that it is possible to change. All of Judaism teaches that it is possible to change, not the outside world. The outside world is going to throw stuff at us all the time. It always does. It never will stop. It's never going to stop. But everything inside of us is capable of responding differently to those challenges. Every single thing inside of us is capable of doing this work. Even though life is full of blessings and curses that we cannot control, we have the power to rule over what our mind thinks, over what our lips speak, and over what our bodies do. We may see, then, that humanity as a whole does the same stupid things again and again and again. But the story of individuals rising and becoming, we can see that too. So this year, I say Hineni, here I am. We just read these words, Avraham, 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 Avraham. Put your own name in there and respond, Hineni, here I am. Respond, I am ready to carry the shards of my past. I'm ready to do better. I'm ready to confront the lightning. I'm ready to see it with both fear and awe. Hasidic tradition teaches us that we're supposed to hold 2 messages with us at all times. In one pocket, we hold, I am dust, and to dust I shall return. And in the other pocket, for me, the world was created. Both of these things at once. Hineni heoni mima'as. Here I stand before you, trembling and afraid, of little merit. But I'm ready this year. I'm ready to be more. I'm ready to grow. May it be true for all of us. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Amen.